Rick Wilson.
Molly Jong-Fast, how are you this fine day?
Oh, I'm just living the dream.
It is a
Um,
dream, isn't it?
so Epstein files, they can only ever release them on a Friday.
Of course, it's the news dump of all news dumps, 3 million pages. And folks, I mean, everybody's already talked through many of the revelations. There will be many more.
Let's talk about what's happened now. We have
Yeah.
Elon Musk
Mhm.
tweeting through it. So we saw emails that said things like, "Are you going to have a party?" We had it.
Mhm.
The most embarrassing email was Ghislaine trying to tell Elon that they weren't at the place
Right.
anymore, so he shouldn't bother
Somebody
coming.
said, "Oh, I bet they turned off the lights when his helicopter flew by."
Right, I mean, it did feel like but he it was like an absolute everything he had said about Epstein was a lie,
Oh,
just like
and
go
look,
on.
just like Howard Nutlick and all these other people, all these thirsty bastards who now are like, "Jeffrey who? What? No, I don't."
Right.
Their emails are like, "Please, sir, may I come to your party? May I watch the
Mhm.
nude women? May I have another girl?" But
Yeah.
Molly, I mean, I've been thinking about this a lot. I wrote about it over the weekend. This guy was evil, and this Department of Justice came out a few months ago and said, "There's nothing there. No victims in the Epstein files." Pam Bondi said those words. Kash Patel
And
said those
Cash
words.
Patel,
There are
yeah.
no victims in the Epstein files. Oh, really?
He said that Epstein had not trafficked to anyone but himself.
Yes, that is correct, and that was a gigantic lie. Tom Blanche said something on Friday that I thought was the most disturbing question. These images include death and sexual abuse. Oh,
So that
just death.
there are 3,000,000 more files
Yeah, and
that have
I
not
gotta tell
been
you,
released.
if this was bad, it'll be the weekend he nukes Greenland or something that he released the next 3,000,000 because, the recursive irony of this is they release Epstein file material to take away the fact that they're murdering Americans in the street, and what's next? How bad does it get? Well, look, let me talk about consequences, though, for a minute, because
Yeah.
I think we've seen a
But
very
I just wanna
interesting.
pause for one
Yes.
second just to go back to that. So Todd Blanche was on ABC today
Mhm.
telling George Stephanopoulos the review is over, that they're not
Right.
releasing anymore because they have death and violence in them,
3,000,000
which
files with death and violence? Are you fucking kidding me?
in my
Was he
mind,
a
I
serial killer as well as a fucking child trafficker? I mean, it's outrageous.
like, in appoint a special master,
Sure.
do hearings, like, explain the emails, which they should have done with this stuff too. Go on.
What has happened here has ironically and bizarrely proven that QAnon was right. The world has a power elite who are degenerate. Some of them are pedophiles. They abuse women, they abuse people, they abuse children. But those degenerate elites turned out to a lot of 'em be in the Trump administration
Yeah, a lot
or
of them.
friends of Trump. You see why you can now see why, and I think even the MAGA audience, and there's a reason they've been kind of muted until late Sunday when they started to get their act together on the pushback, because the indefensible nature of this is something they've been called to defend now for years. They've built a mythology and a legacy around this idea that these files are gonna be chock full of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and George Soros sacrificing children, and it turns out it's Jeffrey Epstein and this incredible circle of powerful people who have faced no accountability for this, who have
Leon
faced no
Black,
judgment for this, who aren't even shamed.
right, Elon Musk,
Elon Musk, Leon Black, all these powerful
Howard
people,
Lutnick.
Howard Lutnick, Kevin Warsh, the new head of the Fed, turns out he's in bed with who?
Well,
Jeffrey Epstein.
he's at somebody's house
Right.
in St. Bart's. I mean,
And
the
you've got
thing the
but you've
reason can I just say
yeah,
one
yeah,
thing
I'm
about
sorry, go,
this?
go. I'm
One
just
of the
lit up.
things that I think is unconscionable about how this stuff was released is that it has totally unproven allegations next to real emails
Yes.
of Elon and Epstein. So, it creates a world where you almost question things which you know are legit. Continue.
Correct. I think some of the most disturbing stuff in here is about Steve Bannon. We have a multi-hour Steve Bannon media training Jeffrey Epstein, so Jeffrey
Right.
Epstein can come back into society in some way. We have cozy emails of Bannon and Epstein talking about how they're gonna use all these right-wing groups that are funded by Russia, which we now know from their contemporaneous emails across Europe to impose this nationalist populism. We've got Epstein writing that he's gonna help Putin establish a new world economic order that is definitionally, by the way, folks, pro-Putin and not pro-American. You've got the deep involvement of the Russians in Epstein's operations. You've got Ehud Barak, the
Right.
Israeli former prime minister, Ehud Barak,
Certainly
and
involved in
former
this.
Israeli intelligence official. This whole thing shows us that this world that they projected of power elites out there with no accountability for abuse is true.
What makes me so upset about this whole job is that it was meant to be the administration felt they had to do it, and they hoped that there was enough partisan stuff to make
Right.
it a partisan food fight because the truth is a lot of these people were Democrats
Sure.
originally. I mean, Lutnick invites Epstein to a fundraiser for Hillary.
Correct.
This is not a partisan exercise, and I think
And
that's what's
Molly, to
most
their credit,
important.
the Democrats have been like, "Oh, Bill Clinton's in there. Well, he should face the music."
And
Whoever
Stacey Plaskin
Stacey
should be
Plaster,
out.
Kathy Rumler,
Yeah.
I think some of the most bizarre stuff that we're seeing here is this network of people in this loose Bannon orbit, but this nationalist, populist, woke rejectionist movement, whatever you want to call it. I don't have a name for it right now. You got Nellie Bowles, who is Barry Weiss's wife,
Right,
cozy with Epstein. You've
I
got
mean, she
Peter
was
Attia, who
interviewing
Barry Weiss
him.
just hired
Right, that's worse.
for
Peter, Dr.
CBS,
Peter with
who has
the
over 1,000 emails back and forth
yeah,
with Epstein, including one that was very disturbing that said something like, being your friend, but I can't tell a soul about the details of your life.
right, right. Yeah. No, I mean, that's the kind of thing that should theoretically ruin someone's career, and I think this is gonna be the real question of Epstein is, does this stuff matter? Do these people get the kind of pass that Donald Trump has gotten, right?
I think
Um,
legally, a lot of this would have to come from the DOJ at this point, and it's not coming from this DOJ.
But it's certainly clear that, like, CBS should not have a person working for them who is a doctor who has 1,000 emails with Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. Look, accountability here can come in a couple of forms. And
Say
look,
more.
legal accountability is one thing. That's the most difficult because this DOJ will not do it. We know why they've been holding this back because these are people that Trump likes and that are in his orbit. The second layer is financial and business level accountability. Do not do business with Leon Black. If your company is working with Leon Black, you should not be doing that. And then that goes for a lot of these other people too. Cultural and social accountability is the third, and that's like, you know why Steve Bannon is popular still, folks?
Fine.
It's because he's a great source for a million mainstream reporters.
True.
He talks inside baseball with a million mainstream reporters every week. Is this the guy you really want to trust? A guy who had formed an alliance and was in business with Jeffrey Epstein. As a culture, we try to hold people accountable with shame, but shame doesn't work with everybody. You've got
It
to
doesn't
cost
work
them
with
money.
Trump world.
No, you got to cost these people money. You got to cut them off. I mean, I think the War Room is on Sirius XM or whatever
Yeah.
podcasting network is carrying Steve Bannon. Are you kidding me? You're okay with this guy who was a business partner and a buddy and strategizing with a known pedophile and sex trafficker years after he was already convicted of being a known pedophile and sex trafficker? Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a really good point, and that's what we need to start talking about is what does accountability look like and what Trump got away with it, but most Republicans don't, right? Matt Gaetz no longer in office.
Nope. And there's an interesting thing. It's like the transitive nature of Republicans believing, okay, if you knew a pedophile, you therefore are a pedophile. Though if Hillary Clinton knew George Soros and George Soros knew Jeffrey Epstein, therefore they are all in the same mix. But Trump gets an exception. A lot of these other people don't. A lot of Republicans live a life that is very fake, very closeted. There are a lot of married Republican members of Congress who are gay as the day is long, and a lot of
Mhm.
same thing in the influencer space and the podcasting space of these right-wing macho manly men. They have never been held to account for lying to their people about who they are. I think this is in a weird way. It's so pervasive. It's so widespread. It's so disgustingly distributed across our culture of the people he drew into this terrible orbit, and it's like not everybody who emailed with Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile, but in these emails that have been released, they all came after the point that Jeffrey Epstein had been convicted in Palm Beach and been given a sweetheart deal for mysterious reasons when he's already known to be a sex trafficker and a pedophile. These people knew this. This wasn't a secret.
I want to talk about something really important, which I think relates to all of this, but is really the fundamental reason why we're probably going to. I want to talk about John Burns Murdoch. Did you read this piece today in the Financial Times?
No, I have not seen it.
So basically, it talks about Democratic backsliding and the kind of situation we're
Yeah.
in right now. But it says the Democratic backsliding has moved at such a rapid pace because
Yes.
Trump is unfettered
Mhm.
and doesn't care. And it's just, but what it says is that the one thing that is probably going to save us, knock on wood, is the courts. And I want you to talk about the lower level courts that have
Yep.
done some good checks and I mean, also, if Democrats lose the midterms, we're all fucked. But if
Yeah.
Democrats win the midterms, there'll be
I'll
accountability.
be
But talk
looking
to us
for
about it.
I'll be looking for a cave somewhere on in a foreign country.
Talk to
Um,
us about accountability.
Look, the courts right now, and interestingly, the lower you go in the federal court system, the more even Trump nominees in the federal courts,
Mhm.
and certainly many Bush and Reagan nominees in the federal courts have said, no, absolutely not. Trump has relied on the DC Circuit and the Supreme Court to bail him out over and over again, but that doesn't work universally. Right now, that is a very thin line between autocracy and the rule of law. The unwillingness of this administration to obey that law, as we've seen in Minnesota with multiple federal court rulings against ICE
Mhm.
and DHS, where they have completely ignored them and run roughshod over them. That is a little more problematic because there's yet to have been a sanction or a penalty or a punishment for the administration from these courts that has caused them any actual legitimate level of hesitation or pain.
Yeah.
I,
But
I
there is the political calculus. Like, they did return the five-year-old in the blue fluffy hat. So they do see that they will have to still have elections. I mean, they're
well,
gonna try to do
they're
fucked
gonna
up
try to play
stuff.
screw around with it, but the states still run their elections, and the problem for Trump canceling the elections, which a lot of people kind of breathlessly talk about,
Yeah, which is, by
is
the way,
not really
not
the problem.
helpful. Can you just, talk about why
Because if
it's
he
not helpful?
cancels the elections, it's not just pick and choose. It's all these Republican members of Congress, all these Republican office holders across the board are delegitimized as well. And then special elections are gonna have to be held once this thing goes through the courts. And that's going to be the point where the voters are freaking furious and they are
Yeah.
livid about this. And they know they will get blown out even worse
Mhm.
than they're going to get blown out in 26 right now. And I am never a guy who goes, one special election is the whole pattern. But now we've seen about 40 races across the country in 25 and 26 from local stuff down to statewide stuff.
Texas,
And
Florida,
this weekend, Texas, you saw a state Senate district overperform
17
by
points?
17 points, a 21-point net swing, which is crazy town. And by the way, the type of Democrat who won, he's like a machinist union official. He's a blue collar kind of guy. He wasn't out there like my 800-page plan on tax reform. No, he was out there like these people are crazy. I'm not going to let it keep going. We're going to fix it. We're going to make your jobs better. We're going to stop this insanity. If that scales up, if I was a Republican right now, we've even seen seats like Cook Political moving Florida from solid Republican to likely.
I
Folks,
know that made you so happy.
if
It was
Florida moves
really
even a
cute.
notch like that, crazy.
I just wanna take a minute here because, you and I are friends. You're so happy about the David Jolly. Talk us through, like, Florida because, I mean, look, there is a Democratic mayor in Miami.
For the first
S
time in a jillion years.
Yeah, 21 years, I think. So, talk us through how excited you are about Florida because it's cute.
Look, I'm still a jaded skeptic about my home state because I helped build the machine that ran it now for the last
Sorry.
25 years. Sorry, folks. But right now, Hispanics in Florida who went overwhelmingly for Trump have broken back the other way. The Cubans who have been the most loyal MAGA voters there are, Trump is in the absolute, at this moment, preparing to deport 350,000 Cubans back to Cuba. These aren't voters, but they are family members of voters, and those people are panicking. You got a member of Congress down there, Elvira Maria Salazar, Republican, who is now one of the only Republicans like attacking Trump, like, "You must stop this. This is wrong. You are insane, sir."
Latinos for Trump, right? Isn't she the head of
No,
Latinos
no,
for
yeah,
Trump?
yeah, but actually, by the way, the Latinos for Trump guy, the executive director, was just deported this week.
What?
Ironies abound.
That
Um,
is
but
not
but you've
good.
got Florida starting to slip with in the South with Hispanics. Middle class Florida is taking an absolute beat down economically. The housing market here is collapsing. In North Florida, you've got farmers, soybeans, cotton, hogs, everything else. They're not selling their products overseas anymore, and they're finally figuring out who's to blame. Does that mean Florida's going to go blue? No. Does it mean they have to spend money and do work? Yes. The Republican primary for governor has now got like 5 people in it, and they're all tearing each other limb from limb. The front runner, who is endorsed by Trump, Byron Donalds, is a degenerate, and that story will come out. People will go, "Oh, of course." And I will tell you something about the Republican base, because I know these people. Even though the guy's endorsed by Trump, Byron Donalds is an African American, and north of I-4 is basically Alabama.
And I
See
think
how
it's
that works out.
Yeah, and I think it's important also to mention that in Florida and in a lot of red states, you do see blue governors
Sure.
sometimes we've seen in Louisiana, we've seen it, I mean, not right now, but we've seen in Kentucky, North Carolina. Red states will elect blue governors.
It does happen, and statewide officials in red states. Florida is a rare exception in a lot of ways because we haven't had a Democratic statewide official for 20 years. But the machine that was built down here, built in the Bush era that was built down here, DeSantis has been a spectacularly bad governor for Republican morale. He and Trump are at war still to this day. He and his wife are being investigated for a $40 million fraud. That's going to trickle down to other Republicans as well. The battle to replace him is turning into, as I mentioned, to a 6 or 7-way food fight. All these things do not make it inevitable for a blue candidate to win. But if you're David Jolly or you're Alex Vindman running statewide, you know what? Roll the dice. Roll the damn dice. This is your year to roll the dice. If you think you're a long shot and the state is generically R+8, which it is, this year you've got a chance. And that's what's happening in Texas. I mean, look, Tallarico has a real chance to win in Texas if they name Ken Paxton as the nominee. And I think Paxton will be the nominee. I don't think Tallarico can beat Cornyn, but I think he can sure as hell beat Paxton. If you see a statewide Democrat emerge in any big red state, any red state for that matter, a medium size, North Carolina is going to elect a Democratic senator this year. If you see that start to happen, there is an inevitable process that begins where the money flow in terms of campaign donations starts to change, where suddenly the lobbyist who would have gotten his people together to write $1 million worth of checks for somebody goes, "Hey, listen, I know I love you, man. Trump's a great guy, but John Smith is the Democratic senator from here now, and I gotta make sure he's good with us, so he doesn't do anything to us
Mhm.
in the legislative process." And if Democrats start to win these seats, by the way, play hardball.
Say more.
Let's put it this way: when Kevin McCarthy was Speaker, he went to lobbyists all over DC and like, "You give any Democrats money, I'm going to fuck you over. I'm going to take away your appropriations."
Mm.
That is the kind of hardball that needs to be played here. That
Mhm.
is the kind of like, you come to me with some lobbyist, you're not coming to my office. You come to me
Mm.
with some. I find out you've donated to Democratic congressional districts in my or Republican congressional competitors in my state. We're going to have an issue. Hardball is real. It exists behind the niceties of DC, and Democrats, when they take back the House, are going to have to learn to play it quickly, and that is going to, in part, be choking off the money that feeds the MAGA machine from these corporate interests around the country. I mean, they need to call Jeff Bezos and Mark Zuckerberg and Elon and the rest of them like, "All right, motherfuckers, here's how it's going to go from now on.
No more
Otherwise, your
Amazon.
appropriations are going to grind to a halt. None of the shit you want is going to happen, and we're going to pass
Yeah.
a national data center ban." How about that? They got to play hardball.
Rick Wilson,
I am here to advise, as always.
national data center ban. I like it.